Hello and welcome to this look at action and stunts on film and television. How are you? We've discussed in the past about the word legend and how it's bandied about like it's commonplace. In the past, you were a legend if you pulled a sword out of a stone. Or performed a feat of such great daring that it resulted in the lives of millions being saved. Nowadays, you come home unexpectedly with salted caramel macchiato and you're lauded with the title of legend. So it's a strange one. In the stunt world, the term is used a great deal too, but with much more justification. The stunt performers of the past set the benchmark. They are the pioneers and those who have asserted their authority on the business. And in the US, there were names like Yakima Canutt, Alan Pomeroy, Cliff Lyons, and in the UK we had Joe Powell, Bob Simmons, and Jack Cooper. Now, Jack was a remarkable all-rounder. He was a spectacular horseman, but was just as adept with falls and car crashes. And he also had one of those faces that would allow a director to use him as a character in whatever production it was. And luckily for him, he was also one of those individuals who did lines very well. He could act. We've touched on the past of those performers. You know who you are, and they will be the first to admit it, that, they are stunt people. They're not the greatest with dialogue, if they're thrown that, because it's not an essential anymore. It used to be. But he used to work on all sorts as characters: Avengers, The Saint, The Persuaders, Man in a Suitcase, The Prisoner. So all of that was well within his niche. On the big screen, the sky was the limit. As a horseman, he could pick his swashbuckling films in the 50s: Horatio, Hornblower, Ivanhoe, Red Berets, pictures like that for army pictures, and also Guns of Navarone. His ability with horses was legendary, bringing down horses, either doing saddle falls, horse falls, actually physically bringing the horse down on the bit. He was also very adept with the jerk harness, as it was then, the ratchet, as it is now known, and certain other gags as well, which are no longer, they don't do them anymore, but again, we've touched on before, running W, which became toe tapper later on. A fixed point over there, and the horse is trained but wired to stop at a certain point, and the stuntman will go with the horse. Jack remembers on a couple of occasions doing a running W into a pit and having to try and calm the horse by pulling its ears whilst trying to stay out of the way of flailing hooves and limbs all over the place. So it's a very, very tricky business, but he was certainly the man for the job. There was no doubt about that. Also had his fair share of injuries, as most performers have, although I've been reading lately about a number of performers who've never had a bone broken. They've been very lucky. Might have got a black eye. I think somebody was joking when they said they broke a nail, but that's how bad it got. Really? Well, Jack is a great example of somebody who's been through the mill once or twice. If you remember Where Eagles Dare, he played a number of roles in that as varying Nazi soldiers. He does a fall from the castle during that. Temperatures had gotten very low. The rig that was created outside was straw-based with boxes, and so a flat layer of boxes, a constructed layer of boxes, a flat layer of boxes, and straw around that to cushion it. 60 feet. I mean, that's what they used to do in those days before pads, certainly, or mattresses, or good quality mattresses. And it had frozen overnight, and when he did the jump, he landed on his back and broke 3 ribs and punctured a lung. So he has had his fair share of injuries, and certainly gags like that, you're not going to forget that sort of thing in a hurry. Cars were second nature to him, and he gained a bit of a reputation as a wheelman, often taking over to perform a stunt at the end of a sequence. One shot, this one, is in fact from the movie The Damned in 1961. The approach was about 500 yards. He has to swerve a couple of times en route to get to the railing. That section of railing would have been a prop, so the rest of it would have been real. So he's got to pinpoint that point where he gets to, that's the entrance point right there. The water wouldn't have been very deep either, but luckily it went off without a hitch. So now that we know a bit more about him, I wanted to give you an idea of, show you something that I came across recently, thanks to a fine auctioneer friend of mine, Alex, and the family of Jack Cooper. And it comes, there's a series of bits and pieces, but predominantly is a costume. And it's a costume made of leather, made of chamois leather, which would have been designed specifically for a film. The film in question was in 1958 and was called Son of Robin Hood and starred David Hedison. Yeah, any bells? Yes, that's right. Felix Leiter on 2 occasions, once in the 70s and once in the 80s. Maybe shouldn't have done the one in the 80s, in my opinion. But David Hedison, he was American, but had done a great deal of work here and stayed on then to do more work on television. And there's a number of costumes for the film. There's a great deal of, we mentioned swashbuckling, lots of sword play, lots of horse falls. Jack's involved in a great deal of this. So there's a collection of bits and pieces which I will show you. So I thought what we'd do firstly was take a look at some of the action from the film, pinpointing some of Jack's work, and then we'll have a look at some of the stuff in this package and we'll go through it. So we'll start with the movie. So let's take a look at this Son of Robin Hood from 1958. Look! It's Felix Leiter, David Hedison, in one of his did a lot of swashbuckling roles. This fight's quite an interesting little thing. You'll see the kicks here. Watch him deliver this punch. Right on target. Bang! Look, camera angle in the right place. Everything going right. Super. Fairly handy with a sword too. A lot of standard bits and pieces here, but Jack Cooper would have run them through. And you'll note here that he is doubled by Bob Simmons, who's not only the stunt coordinator, but his major double on the picture. And it's a good old-fashioned slapdash type stuff. Whoa, straight through the armpit. Up again, everything in long shot, that's Bob. Everything in close-up. The editing's really very good. Really very good. I think it's terrific. That's David doing that. And still David now. Coming up towards the last part of this particular routine. Shoves him. Has another go. And ultimately, he's just going to get to a point where he overbalances. And away goes. Bang, into the drink. Good stuff. So there's going to be a lot of that going on, but this is the type of thing that it was, on the basis that his character is the actual son of said Robin Hood. The merry men are about to be ambushed. Not entirely certain where this was filmed either, but a lot of the stuff here, look, lots of swinging. They're swinging at the swords as opposed to at each other. Waving stuff about, lots of fixed camera stuff, stunt doubles on the backs of horses, and occasionally there's going to be the odd moment where they will have said to an actor, "Are you comfortable doing this?" The actor would have said, "Yeah, sure I am." Of course they're not, that's just the way things are. There we go, there's an example of it. Falling down to the floor, waving one stick around and being thrown. In now comes, this is Bob on the back of the horse, the close-up stuff. There it is, come hurtling in, David, but the long-distance stuff and the speed work is Bob. "Let's get him, men! This way! Charge!" And off they go, tapping the horse with his sword on this occasion. All rubber tips. First big gag of the picture, really. There aren't that many, to be honest, but for reasons better known to somebody else, your man is sent up the tree to go and look for a vantage point. See if you can see what's coming. Drops his hat. It's all the way up to the top. Can you guess who this might be, who's going to do the fall? We need to do this quietly. I know. I'll get the bow out. "I see no ships, only hardships." Got him. Look at that. And then goes for a Burton. Wait! None other than Jack Cooper doing the fall. A bit more buckle to be swashed here. Another ambush, this time the other way around. Bob Simmons, again, they're doing as much as they can. That's Jack, look. Onto the back of the horseman. Yeah, being ambushed. How does it feel? Don't like it, do you? Reg Harding making an appearance here. He has a go as well. Onto the back of the horses. We're going to have a look at a couple of saddle falls here. Very different to some of the ones that we've looked at before. So the guy comes in for the saddle fall. Note his feet are not in the stirrups. And he swings his left leg over the top of the horse. So he's not in any stirrup whatsoever. Normally there's an L step that you can step out of, which will prevent you from being trampled or being dragged by the horse or getting trapped under it. Another example coming along. This one at speed. Camera there. Look, and he just slides out of the side door. And again, looking at the stirrups, they are standard stirrups by the looks of things. Another closer look at another one here. Yeah, standard stirrups. Look, they're not L steps at all. So look at the leg here to the left in the stirrup and is now pushed forwards and kicked clear. Tricky here though, because it's on a mound, it's on a bank, and this is Brian Bowes on this particular gag here, falling, landing, and then falling back because obviously there's an incline on the bank. To time that quite cleverly, otherwise you'll end up being trampled by one's horse. There's another one, a couple of guys going. These are all saddle falls. There's no concealed little mini tramp down there. Look, into that, boing, up on the back of the horse. There we go. Have that, you swine. Look, and sort of just stepped off the horse, really, but that's what they used to do back in those days. And then righty ho, run away, run away. That's a lot of running away. This is terrific. I think this is a good old-fashioned sword fight here, and it's well captured on film too. And it's not entirely clear how much
action that the other actor has maybe done in the past, whether it be on stage or not. But Bob Simmons, this is the back of Bob Simmons here. He's doubling David in all of those shots. There's no need for David to do this, and maybe the routine is such that he's better, and the edit there's the actor then taking over. So maybe the routine with the other actor, that's Jack doubling the other actor here, is better when Bob was doing it. Just, and again, Bob Simmons. So they work it out between themselves and work what's better, and the editing is key to all of this. Again, that's Bob Simmons' back. So they just keep moving stuff around, kick him down the stairs. But the editor is your friend. We have said this before. I'll just throw this torch at him. Hey! And again, you can get in reasonably close, and the stunt guy can bury himself in the other actor, or vice versa. These are the two actors here, because they're coming out the other side. And again, I'm not entirely, the routines that are worked out today at pre-viz stage or something of that nature is quite extensive. There's Jack Cooper one side there. It was Bill Cummings the other side, by the way. It's an interesting shot, this. Fixed camera, horses riding by. That camera doesn't move at all. Isn't that weird? And then here's the fight up in the tower room. Kicks that over. Oh, straight through the side there. Under the arm, that one probably. There's Jack, going to have a go. Gets kicked to one side. And then towards the end, they're still chasing him. This is about 8 minutes of this, which I've edited down. There's a lot of toing and froing and cutting and coming back again. So I tried to put all the action together, and all these guys straight off the top. There we go, lads, off you go. Into presumably a box rig that's down below, or probably 1958 hay, maybe bales, mats under it. Presumably this was a gag that was worked out on the set. I don't know, that you're going to have to hang across there, and then you get up the other side, and because these are not real turrets, these would have been on the back lot somewhere. Getting rid of that so the other side can't do it. But again, editing wise, all pretty good stuff. Bob Simmons again doing the high part of the action, jumping down from the top. There's David Hedison landing. And the routine that's worked out towards the end is very good. It's a very typical Bob Simmons fight. We've explained about the Bob Simmons fights before, using all available furniture. Anything that's on the set is used. It's going to crash through that. It's going to crash through this. Oh, got one in the back. Over he goes. Haven't got a budget for another high fall there, so we'll have to take it at face value. And there's a great deal of what appears to be just, this is with the actors, so this is the first unit stuff. Just waving your arms about. Look, that not in a million years is he going to cut that rope. And then cuts it out of shot. Down comes the drawbridge. And in comes the troops. All running in to help out. But Bob's type of fight has been something that, you see everywhere. You see the two actors going at it. You then see, here's Bill Cummings. You see the two actors going at it. You see the actor and the stuntman going at it. And then you see the long shot with the two stuntmen going at it. And more importantly, using up every available space. Using that to the best of their ability. And you'll see that towards the end of this buckle. Oh! Again, placed under the arm, close up. You wouldn't see that. Oh, he's after your man in white. That's the one he wants to get after. And off he goes. So, this is the end sequence. And again, a great majority of this is done with the doubles. Jack Cooper not doubling here. This is heavier swordplay than we had before. This is stuntman Rupert Evans. Good swordsman. And they're working. Look at Bob up the stairs. Chase the whole time. Pressure's on. Back to the actors. A lot of parrying going on. Parry. There's the now. And again, cutting away. So the candle routine cuts back to the two stunt people, into the fireplace. Obviously, we'll have a fight in the fireplace. Back to the actors on the stage. Long shot back to the doubles. They keep cutting back and forth. This is sort of stage combat now. He's got rid of the knife. Look there, and then it swaps now, throws him across the table, and then Bob decides, right, and dives over and grabs hold of him from that side. Without knee pads on there. Again, all long shot. You can get away with it. Back to the close-ups, back to the long shots again. The editor obviously looking. The close-up routine may have been done, but it's not quite as good. Big stage too. Big sets these. Falling about with the swords. There's a little routine in a moment which is quite interesting. Whang! He took it out of his hands there, look. Crash again. Right, here, watch this. So watch the spear. He hits the spear in Bob's stomach there, takes it out and it's snapped. Look, it's at right angles. Throws it up and manages to just there catch him with it. Which they worked into the routine, presumably. Bang! Oof! Punches, left, right, centres. All sorts happening here. And then he's going to meet his maker. Have that, you dirty-looking swine, you. Oh! And there we go. David Hedison as son of Robin Hood. To fight another day and join the CIA in the meantime. Good man. So here's the first part, which is the tunic itself. This was his costume, and obviously bear in mind this was 1958, so it has faded considerably, but you can see there's a great deal of work gone into it. It's been created for the purpose of the production, and that was either worn underneath or a couple of scenes on top. Then there's some stuff from Battle of the Bulge, extraordinary picture, Henry Fonda, Robert Shaw, Robert Ryan, big cast, big war picture, and was doing some doubling, but also played a character here of a German soldier, and in charge of a tank regiment, and here's some behind-the-scenes pictures. I said there are many more photos. But these are ones that came with the package, so you can see the camera position there, and then there's also a shot from Attack on the Iron Coast, a Lloyd Bridges picture. There he is, second, 1, 2, 3, just holding the ammunition there, and that'll give you an idea of the type of behind-the-scenes stuff. This is before the days of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You had to promote yourself, and Jack would create a card, which presumably he would send out. Top left-hand corner here is a horse fall, a couple of horse falls. There's some firework down at the bottom there. That's from Khartoum. There's a fall from a balcony over the other side. There you see the fall from that balcony. Just above there is the car being crashed into the river from The Damned. There's a Horatio Hornblower at the top. Here, motorcycle gag from Psychomania. The truck is from Hell Drivers. It's very satisfying stuff. And then on the other side, you see that there is the fall from Where Eagles Dare.
So there you go. That's a little look at something that I was very lucky to get my hands on. Again, I must thank Alex for his kind cooperation there and being able to get that to me, and also to Jack's family for allowing me to obtain that and to put it towards the archive. It's valuable stuff, And once I get the rest of those, there's some terrific pictures which I've put to one side, and we'll get some of those developed and at a later stage. And of course, I was away in Morocco. I've come back from Morocco and have decided that winter in this country, in the UK, is shocking, and I never really want to do it again. If it wasn't for the fact that I have family here and loved ones, well, I would quite happily go and spend all of my days in Morocco. It has sown a seed, most certainly. It's a magnificent country, and we're going to be exploring some of that next time around, particularly in connection with the Mission Impossible picture that they filmed out there. Wonderful motorcycle chase and some of the locations there. So do come back and catch up with us again, and until next time, bye for now.